Os. Welcome UNLV students to the Shotokan Karate Studies program. By now you should know you've already warmed up, you've gotten the warm-up that you feel your body needs, you're adequate for starting the program this morning. So let's go ahead and get started with our typical, quick, general warm-up. Ready? And Hajime. Ichi. Ni. San. Yon. Go. Alright, warmed up good there. Let's turn to the side, bring our heels to our glutes. Good, alright. Let's go ahead and do some high knees as well. Get my workout recorded. Here we go. High knees. You can do this slow, just like I'm doing. Again, just bringing your knees up. You can do it fast if you feel like kind of bouncing a little bit, working your calves a little bit. Or if you want to go slow, go slow. And yame. All right, let's come up on our toes, stretching out our calves. And yame. Very good. All right, let's go ahead and do some body hip twists. And yame. Good. Arm up, across the side, stretching out our shoulder. Good, other side. Again, don't hold these too long. Just doing dynamic stretches here. Nothing too static, nothing being held for too long. Switching over. Other side. Good. Feet just widen shoulder width. Go down, touch the floor. Go to the right. Back to center. Go to the left. Back to center. All right, make that a little wider. We're gonna go down to the right, turning up on our left heel, stretching out our hamstring. Good, now we're gonna turn to the left in a long front stance. Pushing on the quad here, pushing the knee over the toe. And down to a runner stand, or a runner stretch. Good. Back up. All right, we're gonna do everything to the other side now. Leaning to the left onto the right heel. Toes pointed up. Stretching out your hamstring. All right, let's rotate that all the way around. Good front stance, long, deep, pushing on the quad, pushing the knee out over the toe, getting a good stretch. Transition that into a runner stretch. And come back to center, come back standing. Good. Turn around, fix your gi. Back to me. Yoi. Subirachi. Free. Yoi. Seiza. Dojo-kun. 一つ、人格完成に人を盛ること。一つ、誠の道を守ること。一つと力の精神を養うこと。一つ礼儀を重んずること。一つ景気の湯を戒めること。Ready? That's it. よい。すばらしい。Ready? よい。So today's class is a beginner class. I'll go ahead and apologize up front. My voice is a little bit down because I've been sick, but we're going to continue on with class today. So what we're going to discuss today is Kumite. All right, so I know beginners, we haven't really gotten into Kumite yet. And Kumite is a form of sparring, but Kumite is a very directed form of sparring in that you know what your opponent is doing typically, and you are making a decision on how to defend and counterattack your opponent's attack. Okay, so typically what we do here is your opponent will attack with an oizuki punch. Now it's your decision on how you want to defend and attack, or defend and counterattack that. We know some basics, right? Now the only exception here would be gate up or right down block, right? Because gate up or right down block is a block of a kick or a low kick. At least that's what we've learned up to this point, right? As a beginner, what we're going to do here is defend a kick. So that kick is coming straight to us, and we are coming up, right, and then knocking that kick or deflecting that kick off into the side. And then you make a counterattack with a Yakuzuki reverse punch, right? That's what Kumite is at this level. So we're going to look at all of our blocks as defending an attack and then making a counterattack. And we're going to practice those a few times today. Not going to be a very long class, but again, I want to make sure that you're exposed to Kumite, because as you get more and more advanced in your belts and your rank, you're going to get more complex types of Kumite. And we'll discuss some of them as we're going through today, but eventually you'll do multiple counterattacks. So maybe you will defend with a Gambai down block and then counterattack with Yakuzuki reverse punch, and maybe go ahead and counterattack again with a Maigeri or Mawashigiri. Okay, so there are more complex things coming, but this is an introduction, so I want you to kind of get it down and see how this works. Now, a lot of times you'll see this in the dojo. You'll typically see students lined up in pairs, so you'll see a set of students lined up at this line, and then another set lined up in another line directly across from them, right? One line will be the attack line, one line will be the defending line. Okay? The attack line, you are calling shots because you are the counter attack. Okay, so you're standing here in a normal position, shizentai, or natural position, ready stance. Okay, so you are calling the shots because you are the one being attacked. So you would call, so what you would do is standing here and call, number one, that you're ready, right? So what do we typically do there? Yoi. Okay. When you're ready, you say hai. Your opponent is going to step back into a gate and right down block. When you're ready for the attack, you would say hai again. Okay. Now that means that your opponent can make the attack. Typically, what they're going to do is an oizuki punch. Okay. It's that simple. All right, unless you tell them, get them that you want a Maigeri. So they'll step back, you say height. When you're ready for the attack, you say height again. Here comes the Maigeri attack.
Okay? And that's all we're working on today. Now, your choice to defend, other than the Gaidon, or other than my Gaiding, which all you're doing is defending with your Gaidon right down block, everything else can be defended with a block that we already know. All right, so let's look at that. All right, and we're going to practice that several times. So let's start with the first block that we know is Gaidon right down block. All right, so again, we're going to go through the typical G, A, U, U. Right, those are the four initial blocks that we know: Gaidon, Age, Uchi, and Ude. All right, that's the typical pattern that we learn. That's what we're going to stick with today. So, as the attacker, we have this down, right? You stand here. Your opponent, the one being attacked, will say "Hai." You'll step back into Gaidon right down block. Whenever they're ready, they'll say "Hai" again. The first attack you're going to give is my Geri Kiagi, front snap kick. All right. So you're standing here. They say "Hai." You step forward with your kick. They'll defend it. They'll make a counter attack. You step back. Okay. You come back. You bow to one another. You're back here. They say "Hai" again. You step back. Okay. Unless you've decided to take turns. All right. So if you've decided to take turns, once you bow to one another, you come back to this position. Now the attacker will say "Hai." That means that you, who've just been attacked, are standing here. You will step back into Gaidon right down block. You will wait for their height. Whenever they say "Hai" again, there's your kick. It gets defended and countered. You step back into your position. You bow to one another. Okay? And that's typically how it goes. So in a dojo, whenever we're all together, let's say there's 10 students, you divide it into 5 pairs, an attacker and a counter attacker, right? And you switch on and off, or you go through all of your attacks, and then you switch. The other line then goes through all of the attacks. Okay? It depends on the dojo and what's going on. But typically you will see this because this is something that the instructor can stand off to the side and watch, right? So I can kind of gather information and say, this student might need a little help here. This student needs some help here. It also helps with protocol, right? So you understand the protocol. Everyone gets together. So regardless of this being a white belt and this being a blue belt, they can switch positions and understand how to go through this kumite, all right? And again, what it is practice seeing how a punch comes in. You see it from different heights, right? Because you might have an opponent who's taller than you, shorter than you, wider than you, right? So you get to see the physics of how things work whenever someone throws a punch or throws a kick and how you're able to defend and counterattack it, all right? The other thing it gets you to do is you're able to stand in a ready position, which is typically going to happen. And then whenever you see an attack coming, you're then making a decision on how to react, right? So get a right down block, right? Age rising block, Uchi Uke, or Soto Ryuke, right? And again, if you're only working one side, your left leg will stay in place, your right leg makes the move back, right? Gaidon, Age Uke, Uchi Uke, and Soto Ryuke. Okay? All of those look very similar, and we'll discuss how the differences start to come into play. And the differences will come in with hip twist. All right? Because again, we've talked about how very important hip twist is in all of our techniques, right? It helps with several different things. All right, so let's talk about Gaidon right down block. That's our first defense, right? So your opponent and you are standing face to face. You are in charge. You call height, they step back into Gaidon right down block. When you're ready, you say height again. Here comes that kick, okay? That my Geri kick. It comes in, and it's up to you to defend, all right? But you're going to step back, block that Gaidon right down block. Look at my body. I'm in a very Hanmi position, right? My body is offline. I've minimized the target to my opponent. I'm here. My Hikite hand is here, just above my belt. And what's happening here is because of this block and this twist, I've now been able to wind up my Gyakuzuki reverse punch. And then deliver it. Okay? So let's look at it again. You call height when you're ready. You call height again. Here comes the kick, block, reverse punch. Come back to standing position, bow to your opponent. You made the decision already, you discussed this already. You're going to defend again or you're going to attack your opponent. And you move through the drill this way, okay? And you're gonna move through it back and forth, right? So now we've done the left side. So now we're gonna defend the right. So again, height, call height again. And for this part, you don't have to let your opponent know which one, right? Whether it's right leg or left leg. Why is that, do you know? Well, it's because you're standing here in a ready position. Standing here in this ready position means that you're ready for right or left, it doesn't matter. But when you see them step back, right? If you see me here and I step back into a left get up right down block, you know the kick is coming from my right leg. Okay? If I step back into a left or a right get up right down block, you know the kick is coming from my left leg. Okay? Same thing if I'm standing here and I go here, you know that the oizuki punch is coming from this side as opposed to this side, right? So if I'm in a right gate on, left punches are coming. If I'm at a left gate on, right hand punches are coming. So it shouldn't matter to you as the defender. You see what's happening, you see which leg goes back, you know where the attack is coming, right? Once you see that, then you know how you're going to make your defense. So change it up, okay? Don't always expect everything to come from the right or everything to come from the left, but change it up. And it's up to you and your partner to work on changing that up. Now I know part of this is we don't have partners, right? Typically if you're in this class or you're taking this course, then you're working by yourself. But it is important and it is a requirement for some of your testing that you know Kumite. So you'll be required to show both the attacks for some Kumite as well as some defense for Kumite. And it really starts to pick up, I think around orange belt, because you start to get more complex, okay? Like I said earlier, we'll kind of discuss it as we go. Some of these techniques will get a little bit more complex in your defense and your counterattacks. So just be aware of that as you start to move forward. This is the beginning, this is how you start to learn it, all right? So let's practice it. Okay, so we're going to stand here in a ready position, so yoi. Again, instead of calling height every time, right, we know the opponent is not standing in front of us. If it is, great, work with your opponent, work with your partner and do this drill, okay? But for the rest of us, we're going to stand, we're going to step and block and then counterattack and block and counterattack. So we're going to do this 5 times on the left, 5 times on the right, okay? So, ready? We're going to go really slowly here for the first 5. And each. Back to center. Good. Other side. Ready? Knee. Good. I'm going to turn just a little so you can get another angle. Back to the left. Ready? Some. She. One more, ready? Go! Back up. Good, I'm gonna face this direction again and give you another angle. A little bit faster, not full speed, a little bit faster. Ready? Each. Other side. Knee. Some. She. Go. And yame. Good. All right, so again, what you're looking at there is defending the attack and countering. Okay, so that's what we're looking for every one of these. Now, eventually you're going to go a little bit faster, but as a beginner, you're going to take this nice and slow. Okay, go as slow as you need to. Work with your partner, tell them, slow it down a little bit. Okay, let's work on speeding it up a little bit. Until you get a good rhythm, until you get into a good flow and you understand each other and how each other's skill level will vary, and how you will have to adapt to. Maybe you need to attack them faster, but maybe you're not quite ready, so you ask them to attack you slower. And you get into this rhythm, and things just start flowing and working. And then you move on to another partner, right? And you have to learn it a different way. So it's always going to be the same, all right? At the beginning here, like I said, for these, this is how you typically learn to defend. This is how you typically learn to put what you've learned into practice, right? So what does a gate on right look like for, in a real attack? And how do I counterattack? When would I use this? Okay. Now, let's talk about getting into a little bit more complex before we move on to the other blocks. So, right now we're just learning to step straight back, okay? And that's fine, right? You're a beginner and I want you to learn how to move in a straight line, moving back away from your opponent, right? Because as that kick comes, you're not stepping into them to block it, right? As that kick comes, you are stepping back, deflecting that off to the side, and then the reverse punch comes, right? And it's typically going to shoot on level chest, okay? So shoot on level right in here, okay? So, eventually you will learn Tai Sabaki, all right? Tai Sabaki is evasion or to evade, and what you're doing is stepping offline. So you're stepping off the X. So if someone is standing in front of me and they want to kick me here, I don't want to be here. So part of the defense is not only gate on my down block, but it's also moving offline of the attack, right? So when that kick comes, maybe I'm stepping offline to block that kick. Gyakuzuki still works as my counterattack, right? But Tai Sabaki is something that we now integrated. Because as your opponent, I'm here, and when I go to throw this kick, still moving the same direction, I'm still doing the exact same attack, right? The kick goes, now you moved over here. You deflected me off to this side, and you moved over here, and now I'm open for an attack here on my body, right? So again, the attack, your counter attack may come here, the ribs, but again, shoot on level, okay? And that's eventually where you'll go. It's not where we're going today, all right? So let's look at the next block, okay? So the next block is Ageuke rising block, okay? All right, so same thing. We stand here, we call height, your opponent steps back, we call height again. The attack is an oizuki punch, okay? For these next three blocks, the attack is oizuki punch, which again allows you the opportunity to make a choice, okay? Do you want to block with Ageuke, Uchiuke, or Udeuke? You are the defender and the counter-attacker, so you make that decision. Right now, we're going to work on Ageuke specifically, but again, whenever you're doing this drill with a partner, besides the kick, okay, if you just want to work your primary blocks, okay, you can just have them do these, it doesn't matter, right, because all they're doing is oizuki punch. You can make the decision on how you want to defend, all right? So let's go ahead and start with Ageuke rising block. We're in Yoi, height, your opponent steps back. Whenever you're ready, height again. So whenever you call it, so this is 1, we're just gonna go through 5 again, alternating sides left and right. Ready? Ich, slow, lock, hip, counter attack. Okay, other side, ready? Knee, block, counter attack. Good, all right. So now you understand what's happening, all right? Remember the hip twist. Remember to minimize your body's target, okay? Ready? Sum. Wind up. Your body is now facing in this direction. Hanmi. Your hikite hand is back. You made the block. Drive with the hip. Drive and sink, okay? I'll show you from a different angle when we go to the other side. Ready? So again, mark, block, hip twist, punch. Okay? I'm going to show you from this angle. Ready? Go! hip twist, comes back, minimizing target, reverse punch. Drive forward, sink, okay? Watch my hip here. The block is up here. Now the reverse punch, your hip is going to twist, rotating this direction. Your knee and this part of your leg is going to drop. You should feel your glute tighten, okay? There's your punch. From here to here. Up to down. Block to punch. Block to punch. Okay? Works the same way on the other side, but that's what we're looking for. Is you should feel that hip twist sinking into your stance, glute tightens, this portion of your leg drops and straightens towards your opponent. Okay? Drive that leg, drive that rotation, drive that punch. All right? Let's get 10, okay? We're gonna still take it a little slow here for the first 5, and we'll speed up for the next 5. I'm gonna face you for the first 5, and then we'll switch off to the other sides. Ready? Each. Knee. Song. She. Go. Good. I'm going to turn to the sides. Ready? Roku. Sichi. Hachi. Ku. Ju. Hill. Good. All right, so there's Ageuke. All right, don't worry about not getting in too much practice here. We're going to go through them all again at the end before we end class today. So let's go to the next block. What's next? Uchiuke is next, right? We're still following that same pattern, G-A-U-U, Gedan, Age, Uchi, Ude. So Uchiuke is next, all right? Uchiuke is your inside block. This is going to look very similar to your Ageuke rising block, okay? Because as we step back, Hanmi for the block, minimizing target to your opponent, winding up that Hikite. Okay, your hip is back, same thing happens. Reverse punch comes. Driving the hip as it comes forward from here to there, driving this flat portion of your leg. I'll lay my hand right here and you'll see this is the block, the punch. My leg is now facing my opponent, right? My glute is lowered and tightened, okay? My knee is pointed to the floor, okay? And so you come from this to this, all right? The Yakizuki is the second, okay? The reverse punch is the second. The difference is the block. But the block isn't really too much different either, right? The difference in this and this is just hand position, okay? And again, defending the same attack. Oizuki punch is coming, all right? I can make the decision. Oizuki punch is coming. All right, I'm going to Ageuke. Oizuki punch is coming. Okay, I'm going to Uchiuke. All right, and when we get there, Oizuki punch is coming. Uriuke. All right. Now again, whenever we move a little bit more advanced, you'll start getting into Tai Sabaki, right? So as a punch is coming, that Uriuke might be you stepping offline to block. Okay, and then a reverse punch. All right, so again, some of these will change. And that Uriuke will maybe, as you come in, I'm blocking here, stepping into this somewhat Kibarashi stance. If I block the punch, I can hold elbow strike, back fist, side kicks, okay? These types of things start coming into play, and your mind starts working, right? As a karate student, as a karateka, you kind of see where these openings lead to, right? You see that just because you've defended and you've countered, maybe the attack isn't over. Maybe the possibility for attacks isn't over. You've blocked, you've defended, maybe a kick is coming. Maybe a back fist is coming. Right? You have many options, and that's what we're trying to learn. Right? We're trying to learn all those various options, what you can do, how one technique can flow into another. But this is the beginning. Right? This is our foundation that we're building. All right, so let's look at uchi-uke now. All right, I'm going to start in this direction just to give you a little bit of perspective. So left and right, same thing. Ready? Ichi, slow. Ni. So. Shi. Go. I'm going to turn for you. One thing that you might notice is my parry hand. Okay. Hopefully you're doing this parry as well. All right. If you're not, please start. Okay. So parrying with the opposite hand. With that hikite hand, parry. Parry. Okay. As that punch comes, you're kind of gliding it, or kind of guiding it, not gliding it. As that punch comes, that initial parry hand just kind of taps it and gets it going into that opposite direction anyway. The uchi-uke finishes it and makes sure it stays offline or deflected outside of your rectangle of protection, right? This is where that punch is aimed, okay? I am parrying it and then blocking it to make sure it stays outside, okay? The parry isn't necessarily the block, it's just a guide. You see that punch coming, you want to make sure you're out of the way. And typically your response, your brain's natural response is, don't hit me. You're going to throw your hands up, right? Parry, block. Okay? Let's do 5 more. Ready? Ichi. Ni. So. Shi. Go. Good, yummy. All right. Let's look at Ure-uke. All right, Soto Ure-uke. So Soto Ure-uke is an outside block. And again, just like with Age-uke and like I just showed you with Uchi-uke, there's a bit of a parry, or a bit of a target mark, you might say. Right? So for Age-uke, we kind of raise our hand up and block. Right? For Uchi-uke, we parry, we block. Right? For Soto Ure-uke, what do we do? I know you've seen us do this in the past. One hand comes out, and then the block comes. Again, this is, some people would say it's a target mark. You're marking where you're blocked, but really it's a parry hand. All right? As that punch is coming, I am parrying to make sure it's going this direction and then blocking it. All right? Same thing. Is it coming from here? I'm going to parry it and block it. All right? Now we're not moving offline yet, right? We're not doing Tai Sabaki, but this is a great block whenever you're doing Tai Sabaki. If a punch is coming from the right, okay, it's coming around this way, and I can parry and block. I'm offline, the punch has missed me completely, and the dead side of your opponent's body is here. So closed off, the arm is here, you blocked it, maybe you can grab it. All right, but even if you can't, you've blocked it, and now you've opened up a good side kick to the back of the knee or the back of the thigh or the kidneys and ribs of your opponent. Okay, so again, basics here lead to more complex things. All right, so let's look at Ure-uke again. So we're coming straight to us. Ready? Ichi. Ni. Sorry, that was completely wrong. Ready? Ichi. Ni. Good. So. Chi. Go. Good. Let's look at this from a little bit different of an angle. The reverse punch is the same. Okay. Ready? Slow. Ichi. Body is turned. Han-mi position. Reverse punch. Ish. Okay? The same. Alright. Let's go for 5 more. I'll do 3 here and 2 on this side. Ready? Ich. Ni. So. Good. Let's do this side. Yo. Go. Oi. Good. All right. Eventually, right, not today, but we will get into Shotokan. Now, Shotokan is more of an offline type of thing. You can try this with an opponent as they're coming straight to you. Again, you're defending, back stance, and then the reverse punch. But you're having to change your stance, right? So from the back stance, you can't just do a reverse punch. This turns into more of a, why can't I think of it? It turns into more of a side body punch, just like in Hen Godon. You're not there yet. Okay, so you're here in a back stance, so you have to adjust. This foot's going to step left. This foot's going to turn as you drive that punch. Okay, so again, we're not quite there yet. I don't want to throw stance changes at you quite yet. So beginner level, let's stick to beginner level things. Moving backwards in a straight line, okay, in a Zenku Sudachi front stance, defending, and then counter-attacking. All right, so we've gone through our basic blocks. Gato right down block, Age-uke, Uchi-uke, and Ude-uke. All right. We've gone through all of them. We've gone through about 10 of each. Let's do some more. All right, so this time, on my count, okay, we're coming straight this way. We're gonna go through all 4. Left side first. Gedan, come back. Age-uke, Uchi-uke, and Soto-uke. All right, left side only. Then we'll do right side. Okay. But now, instead of doing the same one over and over, we're doing each one individually, back to back. Okay? So again, you have to think about what you're doing here. We're not just droning it through the same thing over and over, right? We're not doing 10 Age-uke, 10 Uchi-uke. Change it up. Okay? Again, if you're working with an opponent, you have the option to do this throughout the drill. Okay? Unless your sensei is telling you, work Age-uke, rising block. Then continue to work that. Maybe he's looking for something specific. Maybe he's looking to call out individuals making mistakes for this particular block. All right, because he's looking to make a point. But otherwise, it's up to you to defend how you want to defend. Okay, because it's going to be that situation if you actually have to employ this in a real situation, in a bar fight situation, whatever it happens to be. If someone is throwing that Oizuki punch, it's up to you to make that decision to say, how am I going to block this? I have options. That Oizuki punch is coming. I'm going to block it and reverse punch. I'm going to block it and reverse punch. I'm going to block it and reverse punch. Okay? Same punch, many options for defense. Same counterattack. Okay? And it's because it's the quickest way to counterattack. That's why we're not making this more complex than it has to be, right? Once you've blocked, what else do you have here? This hand's blocking. This hand isn't. So the quickest counterattack is going to be this punch, unless you start looking at kicks. Here, this leg, because your weight is 70-30 on your front leg, right? You're in a front stance. So you're not going to kick with this leg, but this leg would be a good option. So you blocked, good kick, okay? So you're looking for the quickest way to counter the attack that has just occurred. Not the longest way, not the most complex way, okay? Quick and powerful, all right? That's what Shotokan is really about. That's what our base is. ending attacks, ending an attack, first countering it, but then ending the attack as quickly as possible with the least amount of effort. One good punch, one good kick. Okay, that's what your aim is. That's what your goal is. That's what Shotokan is all about. It's not about flowery kicks and jumping over someone's head and that type of thing. Okay, this is power, linear. Okay, ending a fight as quickly as we can. All right. Okay, so let's try the drill. All four. Okay, left side. Ready? And we'll go slow. All right, we're gonna do this a couple times. Ready? Each. Good. Knee. Good. So. Yo. Good. Other side. Ready? Each. Knee. So. She. That's my fault. Ready? Let's do she again. She. And yo man. Good. So there's all four of your blocks. Left side and right side. Defended, counterattacked. All right? Let's do it again. A little bit faster on speed. Not fast, not full speed. Just a little bit faster. I'm going to change direction just so you get another perspective. Ready? Same four. Ready? Left side first. All four. Ready? Each. Knee. So. She. I don't know why that one gets me every time. Again. She. Good. Let's go to the right side. I'm going to change direction for you again. Ready? Each. Knee. So. She. Good. All right. There we've worked them all again. Left side, right side, all four blocks, a little bit faster on speed. Okay, so that's what the whole basis of this class was, is just to introduce you to Kumite. You've got it now, right? You can go into any dojo, Shotokan dojo, and line up with those students, and whenever they start going through Kumite, you can defend that Oizuki punch. This is the basics, okay? You can defend that Maegeri front kick, and you can defend that Oizuki punch and counterattack it. Like I said, eventually things will get a little bit more complex. If you want to kind of look into that, you can kind of move into the intermediate class. There will be a class on Kumite, if there's not already, so you can look at that and see what does that look like. How do we get more complex? All right, you can kind of see where you're starting to go. But right now, practice these basics, get them down. If you have the availability of a partner or someone who's willing to work with you and just throw these punches for you, work with them, right? Be thankful that you have that opportunity, work with that person, see what you can do as far as someone who's trained and someone who's not trained, right? Sometimes you just get that angry guy in a bar who just wants to throw a punch, okay? So what does it look like to block and counterattack that person, okay? Versus someone like us, right, who we're all working this together and we're doing Shotokan karate. So everything is very linear and very low, right? You're not going to get someone in a bar, typically in a bar or mugging situation or out in public, who's going to say, hey, give me your wallet, and then step into get him right down block position, right? So you're not going to see that, so you don't stand there and say, okay, he's going to either kick me with his right leg or he's going to punch me with his right fist, right? I know this. I'm going to block and counterattack, okay? That's not what I'm going for. Again, we're learning the basics. We're getting our foundation down. So again, if you're able to practice this with a partner and see how it works with the physiology of people of various heights and weights, various skill levels, This is a great way to get started in Kumite and actually put into practice some of the things that you've learned. All right? Let's come back to center of class. Yoi. Subidachi. Right. Yoi. Seiza. All right. For this, let's just calm our mind today. Wakuso. Wakuso yume. Sensei ni re. Tate. Os. All right. Thanks, students, for joining me for this class on Kumite. We will see you again on the next video.